capable of inciting violence against the former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, and causing breach to peace. The House, Mr. Speaker, may wish to note that on the 23rd of November 2020, the British House of Commons, acting on a petition organized by some Nigerians at home and abroad, held a special session to debate the response by the federal government of Nigeria to the EndSARS protest and the attendant loss of life and properties following the aftermath of the demonstration. Further note, Mr. Speaker, that during the debate, Tom Tugendhat, a conservative member of parliament for Tonbridge and Malling, the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Select Committee of the House of Commons, had accused former head of state of Nigeria, General Yakubu Gowon, of making half of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, with him when he went on exile to the United States after he was toppled in the military coup. Aware that Tom Tugendhat, member of parliament, did not at any time of speaking provide any evidence to support the weighty allegation he had made against the General Yakubu Gowon, and has not since that time of making such allegations provided any evidence in support of his claims. Further aware, Mr. Speaker, that Tom Tugendhat, MP, by his position as the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Select Committee of the House of Commons, and having himself served as an army officer raising to the rank of a lieutenant colonel in the territorial army, understand that allegations of this nature met without evidence and unsupported by any known fact can have a consequences in affecting a country like Nigeria. Concerned, Mr. Speaker, that the member of the parliament made those remarks for the records in the House of Commons without due regard for any year of cordial relationship between our two countries, and without first using diplomatic channel available to him to ascertain the veracity of his position or to seek evidence in support of the claim he intends to make in Parliament. Disturbed, Mr. Speaker, that despite the barrage of condemnation by well-meaning and right-thinking people from all over the world and an official request for restriction by the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, neither Tom Tugendhat, MP, nor the government he represents has thought it fit and proper to act to correct the inconsiderate and dangerous statement made on the integrity of the General Yakubu Gowon. Further disturbed, Mr. Speaker, that the recalcitrance of the member of the parliament in this matter gives credence to suggestion in certain quarters that the careless utterance was not made in error, but rather it is a calculated attempt to exploit the filthiness of Nigerian society to create conflict, exacerbate crisis, and create conditions that make government doubtful and progress impossible. The House resolved, Mr. Speaker, to 1. Mandate the Speaker of the House of Representatives to write to the Speaker of the House of Commons to A. Express the displeasure of the House of Representatives that the member of the House of Commons have taken advantage of parliamentary privileges to disregard a former head of state of Nigeria or the Federal Republic of Nigeria in the person of General Yakubu Gowon, and to make statement against him, which in other circumstances will be libelous and subject to sanction. B. Demand that the member of the parliament, Tom Tugendhat, offers a public apology to General Yakubu Gowon and to the people and government of Nigeria for making claims in parliament that are capable of creating conflict, breaching the peace in Nigeria, and equally destroying the hard-earned reputation of General Yakubu Gowon. 2. Invite the British High Commission to the Federal Republic of Nigeria to explain to this honorable House why, despite demand by citizens and government alike, the government of Britain has failed to offer any apology for the action of Tom Tugendhat, MP and chairman of the Foreign Affairs Select Committee of the House of Commons, knowing fully well that the effect of such statement can have in a country such as ours. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Sabangari Federal Constituency. I rise to second this motion as ably moved by Honorable Gagdi.
Mr. Speaker, as a representative of General Yakubu Gowon in the House of Representatives, and looking at the commitment of General Yakubu Gowon in making sure that the unity of this country stands, Yakubu Gowon is one of the least head of states that any other country will destroy his hard-earned reputation by alleging that he went away with over half of central bank funds. An institution like Parliament in the United Kingdom should not have made that statement without any evidence. Mr. Speaker, every right-thinking Nigerian knows the commitment of General Yakubu Gowon to this country, where he fought civil war to ensure that the country remain united and the country remain one. Mr. Speaker, everybody knows how respected General Yakubu Gowon is. And nobody have ever had General Yakubu Gowon linked to any corrupt activities in this country. It beats my imagination and imagination of many Nigerians for a member of parliament to stood on the floor of the United Kingdom Parliament and make such libelous allegations against the reputation of General Yakubu Gowon. Mr. Speaker, it's a straightforward motion. We know that the target is not aimed at destroying Yakubu Gowon as an individual. It's further, to some of us, we have given it divination to an extent that the aim is to further create disunity among Nigerian people so that we will not trust the leaders that will be able to intervene in the situation that Nigeria is facing. Nigeria needs people like General Gowon to continue to play statement role and to continue to play leadership position by advising all sectors of Nigeria to remain one. Mr. Speaker, what we read in universities and secondary school, General Yakubu Gowon is one of the head of state that came with the National Development Plan, which is geared at bringing different ethnic groups in Nigeria to stay together. And he is one of the performing head of state. Therefore, the statement made by the UK House of Commons is unacceptable to the people of Nigeria. And I insist, Mr. Speaker, while calling on my colleague to contribute to this motion, that the United Kingdom government must apologize to this country. And Mr. Speaker, I urge you to make your position known to the House of Parliament in the UK. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Before I put the question, this motion, and I must thank Honorable Gagdi for bringing it up, has generated a lot of discourse nationally and internationally. As for Honorable Chinda's amendment, which has some merit to it, I still believe that even on the rules of Parliament, anything spoken or done at the committee level, and that's why we have to be very careful at committees. The committees actually represent the House, and it's even in our rules that the committees represent the House, and that's why there has to be, we cannot hide under the fact that it was spoken at the committee level. But the amendment has carried, and it does have some merit. We were all aghast at this unfortunate vituperation by a member of Parliament, and because it is a parliament-to-parliament issue and it was discussed in Parliament, notwithstanding at committee level, it's important that we address it, especially as it affects perhaps our longest-serving head of state. The parliamentary protection for statements made in the chambers intends to allow for free and spirited debate in the best interest of the public. It is not meant to be used as a shield and not as a sword. Honorable Tom Tugendhat, a conservative member of the British Parliament of Commons, took advantage of this privilege to launch grievous and baseless allegations against General Yakubu Gowon. Unfortunately, this was an act that deserves of the most spirited rebuke. All of us in Nigeria are still grappling with the lessons of our nation's history. We are not helped in this regard by the cynical interventions of people who do not seek our nation's upliftment, but will gladly exploit our faultlines to score cheap political points. The resolution as made by this Parliament will be conveyed to the head of Parliament
the head of the British Parliament accordingly. So I'll just put the question, assuming that the resolution is carried. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no.